Well, it was only a matter of time before more art from Chris from jail was released, and sadly, if you look at the date on the bottom, this is all art from the end of August. Chris must have went through like one hefty period at the end of August where he just drew so much shit. But the thing is, we haven't seen anything from anything after August. We haven't seen nothing from September, nothing from October, and now we're in November. But I still want to take a look at this and see what was in the mind of Chris at that time, because obviously, this is still after he found out he'd be in jail for like another year. This is still after he found out he wasn't getting out a year after the day he had been arrested the first time. But this art's pretty wacky, and then we do have some updates on Chris afterwards after we look at this artwork. So I'm pretty sure if y'all want to hear about that, you'll enjoy looking at these crazy pictures that Chris drew. And yeah, let's just jump right into it with this first one here of it looks like Chris Chan Sonichu fighting another Sonichu. A lot of Sonichu fights going on in these artwork Chris has been drawing recently. I guess the Sonichus have some bad blood for each other. They're just going at each other now that Chris is in jail, now that no one's there to kind of keep them in check. But I'll say this, Chris, in hindsight, made a really good choice just keeping Chris Chan's Sonichu blue, since that seems to be the only color of pen he has in there, well, black and blue. But, it really ended up working for him in the long run. So in this one, we got Punchy Sonichu, the best of all the Sonichus, and he's talking to a cat named Speedy, looks like a robotic cat, and and, and Punchy Sonichu says, "Ohio, Speedy," and Speedy says, "Ohio, Punchy." I'm guessing that's just Chris's new way of saying hello. He's like, holy shit, the word hi is in Ohio. That's my new Ohio. Like, oh my god, I can already imagine him getting out of jail, getting on a stream, being like, Ohio, everyone. But then Punchy says, it's good to see you again. And Speedy says, you too. What brings you to Tokyo this time? Punchy responds with, our present work for the Chaos Emeralds and Chaos Crystal Balls led me and the Psychic Squadron here this time. But I wanted to see my favorite Nyankees. Again, that sounds like a racial slur. But to have some tea and pizza. That's a weird combination. And, what does he say? Ah, Polly can cover me for a half hour. Speedy, I assume that's Polly saying that. I thought he said al pastor at first, and I was like, damn, like I really could go for some tacos now. But come in and sit a while. I'll bring the tea and we can catch up. So this is just a nice drawing of two friends seeing each other after so long. You can also see what looks like Chris up in the top corner saying something in really small writing. I can't even read that, but I know people in the comments will tell me, like, bro, so easy, how didn't you see it? But what I see is, I tried something speedy from something. Enjoy. Like, I hate when Chris does this. Like, how can you expect people to be able to see that? So something that I didn't catch until I looked at the very side there, you can see right under where someone is popping out saying Fred. But it seems like this art's really old. 05, 28, 2022, like, so that's like Memorial Day weekend of this year. That's been a grip. So that's like almost a 6-month-old drawing right there. So this is nothing really new or groundbreaking. The thing is though, even though it's nothing like recent from Chris, these are the most recent things we've gotten from Chris. And the next drawing is one that just kills me. It is just beautiful. So let's take a look right at it. So for the second time during his prison stint, Chris has decided to draw Gibby. The first time he did it was actually pretty spot on. This one, I mean, kind of, but you can kind of draw Gibby in that same manner, and it kind of looks like the guy. Hey, buddy, you want to get some ramen? And it's him holding up some ramen. I don't know. Is this supposed to mean that Gibby's like in jail with him because all Chris has been eating is ramen? Like, I don't really get the joke here. I know, once again, someone in the comments is going to be like, dude, it's right there. How do you not know this? But still, it's just Gibby with some ramen. And I guess this is supposed to be like a fucking burn to Chris. I don't know. I don't know if there's something in the past that maybe Gibby sent Chris some ramen one day when he was hungry. I don't know. Maybe when Gibby tried to get Chris to go on Dr. Phil, he offered him some ramen to do so. I don't know. But yeah, that's that's just a nice drawing from Chris of one of his favorite YouTube creators, and gotta respect it. But as you can see, this one is titled "The Gibby Situation," which, as I said, don't know what the Gibby situation is. I mean, I don't know if it's back from when like the whole Isabella stuff was going on. Then again, does ramen have something to do with that? I'm looking too much into this. Who gives a fuck? But as you can see, 08/27/2022. So like I said, same thing with the first one. Around this time, Chris was just firing on all cylinders with his pencil or his pen and the paper in that jail cell. He was just going at it. And see, we got one more to look at, and this next one though is a fucking doozy because it's going to be a whole lot that we got to read. So just be prepared. Now, this next one is kind of like a picture we've already seen. It looks like a Last Supper or like a meeting, kind of like a Star Wars meeting of all the Sonichus, and it looks like different versions of Chris and someone with an eye patch. I don't know. And I also don't know where to start reading this because I'm going to assume we start with the person in the middle, and then the guy to the left of her, and then the person to the right of her, and then down to the Sonichu. So let's just fucking shoot it. I feel it shall be very good after we bring our prime self counterpart aboard the first time. It shall be very good, yes, indeed. Although I must state the difficulties of adding her before now. Who? I'm going to assume that they're just talking about Chris, or maybe even that Sonichu next to I assume to be Chris in the middle there, because they're just kind of like, just seems like they're just sticking around, seeing if they can get along this ship. I don't know. Once again, I'm thinking way too much into this shit. But let's go to the next bubble that says, "Ah, indeed so. She shall be a good and dignified leader with her spiritual developments and scruples." What the fuck is a scruple? It sounds like something German. Actually, it's one of those things. If you ever been on, I think like an American airline flight, it's like one of those like they give you one of these like hard waffles. They're kind of like a waffle. They taste a little bit like syrup. Like they got like the maple flavoring in them, and oh god damn it, I'm trying to think. But you get them in like a package when you're on the plane, and yeah, they're called struples. So apparently, whoever this she they're talking about is just coming in hot with all the struples. So I mean, I'd be kind of jealous too. Those things are pretty good though. I'm afraid I must agree with Chris. Of course you do. Of course you do. Every Sonichu always agrees with Chris. In the veil between her Earth halves have been tough to pedal through. Does that say? I don't know. They're really just talking about a bunch of like interdimensional dumb shit here, like just a bunch of Chris's wacky stuff. Like once again, there's no groundbreaking. Like it's not like one of the sonnets who says, "Oh, and by the way, to the guy who went to the house last week and talked to Barb." Like then we'd be like, "Oh, okay, so someone did some weird ween shit." But no, it's just nothing but just Sonichu garble and Jesus shit. Like I don't know. It's always the same with Chris anymore. But there's still more writing on the bottom of this page. Maybe that'll give us some real insights. Perhaps Sonica. Sonica. There's always a new one. But like most of us, Chris Chans throughout the multiverse. Oh, so this is just a council of Chris Chans. Awesome. She's channeling her powers from within. She shall break from Earth's veil as prophesied in her universe. Have faith. Of course, like of course. So whoever this Sonica is like another Chris Chan. Like on screen right now, you can see two Chris Chans just duking it out, but Sonica could be right here with them apparently. So I said in the beginning of the video that we had a minor update on what's going on with Chris, and that we do, and it comes from the same place we got these letters here. It comes from the Prater's Etsy shop. I always bring it up in these videos about Chris, because just like a lot of you guys, I don't really understand what the Prater is either, other than like a group that hovered around Chris, and they're really the only group he trusts now in jail, because they've revealed, I hate saying that, oh, they said this, because who the fuck, like, they could clearly, this may not be the case, because as we've seen, all these artwork drawings from Chris are all from before his like jail silence from like the a few months ago, so they're most likely just holding on to these, drip feeding them out to people on Etsy, because motherfuckers are buying these. I mean, I think these arts are going for like 175 a pop, so I mean people are really buying them, which is, it's Chris stuff, so I'm not too surprised with that. But the people who like run the shop, the people who call themselves the Praetor, I assume it's got to be involving that dude Caden that Chris was talking a bunch about in the letters before he stopped writing. But they responded to someone, I think it was like a Kiwi Farms user, and they said that they're still in like they still have like a reach to Chris. They're still talking to Chris, but due to everything going on, yada yada yada, they have to keep it really quiet. And I'd love to find the exact quote because like Kiwi Farms is down right now. Of course it is. But I know the dude from the farms asked them, was like, yo, like, has anything happened with Chris since we've last heard from September? And the Praetor just responded in a really Chris way to say something like, yes, indeed, like, there has been stuff, but due to everything going on, we have to keep quiet. But don't worry, keep faith. The second coming will happen soon enough. Like, I've read the quote a few times, but I know that's not it verbatim, but it's basically along the lines of that. They're basically just saying, like, hey, we can't talk about anything involving Chris, but we are talking with him. On one hand, do I believe them? I mean, yeah, like they're the only people Chris probably trusts. My basis to believe them is nothing more than that, though. Like this could easily be bullshit. Like I could just as well see it being bullshit. That's why I said on one hand it's one hand it's the other. But at the same time, it is clear that this is a group that Chris still trusts because when he has nobody left, these are like the only people that are left to talk to him. Probably the only people that haven't like said anything that's a little bit too criticism heavy for Chris because the second they say like, hey Chris, you're doing this wrong, those jail letters are probably completely stopping. But as of right now, that's what they're claiming, that they still have correspondence with Chris in jail, but other than that everything's being kept quiet. Now I think a big question to ask there is, well, if he can still send like letters to people in the outside world, does that mean he's just like he's purposely not sending Kengel and nobody else letters because of the Sonichu shit they did right before he went quiet? I don't know. But I believe that Kengel's actually tried to reach out to Chris too. I think Eels, Negman, all those old people who were writing the letters, they tried to reach out to Chris, but he's just not writing back. So maybe his lawyer got in the way. But if the lawyer is saying stuff, I can't imagine the lawyer would be like, look, you can't write to this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. But this group of people who's selling your artwork on some website, that's cool. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know shit about legal proceedings and all that. But I don't think this would be something that would come up. I feel like if Chris can write to the outside world, he can probably write to anybody, but for the time being, maybe he is listening to his lawyer. Hard to think that, though, when you're considering Chris. He doesn't really listen to anybody but the things that go on inside of his head, so who knows. But I gotta say this, when we do hear from Chris, we'll probably hear a lot of the same shit we're hearing right now. I wouldn't expect like a return to the old Chris. I'd expect him to come out of jail and still firmly believe he's like Jesus Christ or something. It's going to be wacky when he gets out, whenever that day may be, because I feel like we're going to see less of him. Like, we're definitely going to see still a lot of Sonichu shit, a lot of him trying to sell, like, the Sonichu stuff to make money, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing, like, sermons coming from Chris, and, like, Chris acting like like a pastor, like, my children, today we are here to honor me. Like, it's coming. I swear to God, Preacher Chan is just around the corner. Hell, it sounds far-fetched, but I could see Chris coming out of jail and really, like, not thinking he's starting a cult, but trying to. I could see him thinking he's like a mix of Jim Jones and Bray Wyatt. But it's, until he gets out, we don't know nothing for sure. But I did want to show y'all what I've been seeing the past few days, because I know a lot of people have asked for updates on what's going on with Chris, and this is really the best I can do for you, because not too much has happened. But if you want to know, like, just what's been happening, this is it. And it really ain't much, but I found it, like, I found it enough to be like, hey, guys, I'll let you know what's going on, because a lot of people, y'all still ask me what's been going on with Chris, if I even still covered Chris, and yeah, I will when shit happens. But next few days we'll have the end of the Alec Benson Leary call, and then the 20K special, which I know y'all will love. And yeah, I hope y'all are stick around for it. So that's really the end of today's video, guys. There's not much more I can talk about with Chris here, because there really isn't anything else to talk about. So with that being said, I want to give shouts out to Vanessa, Club Doom, Cody Hale, Echo Spectre, Scaly Schisms, Pythea, Your Mom, Krabby, Kaitan, Fiendland's Party Place, Churlish, Mick Surly, Grant M, Adrian Lara, Chris Chan's Fanta Bottle, Cyrax's Stylus, Music Biz Marty's Bong, Sky Fitzpatrick, G-Man, Blake Austin, Vaga. Alright, Stingy, Isaiah, Akiba's Beat Fan, the Ghostbusters Fan, Commander Louie, Gypsy Pauls, Trademark, Justin S., Steve from Machete Squad, and Chef Meme Maker. You guys are all fucking goats. And all y'all who made it this far, you're a goat as well. Thank you guys as always for chilling, coming by, and watching the videos. And I just can't thank you all enough for the support. And until the next one, take care, my friends.